Hello, welcome to yoga. My name is Andrew Rodenberg. We'll go ahead and get started today. If you need any blocks or blankets, you can just sit those off by the side of the mat. We're going to start off today just sitting up nice and tall. So think about the ribs lifting up off the hip points. Chest is open, shoulders kind of coming down the back. And you can close your eyes or find a spot to gaze at. You're just starting to find your long, smooth exhales. As you breathe, the majority of movement is going to happen across the front of the chest and the ribs below the armpits. If you'd like, just exaggerating 2 breaths or so, just to finding movement into the rib cage, finding the extent of your breath. On an exhale, you can even pull the navel in and up to squeeze all the stale air out of the lungs. So just a couple of exaggerated breaths, and then just finding whatever natural rhythm works for you here. If you're a little taller on the inhales, maintaining that length on the exhales as the shoulders continue to relax down. You know, that's a movement to the head and neck. That's always an option as we move to our practice. So as you find your breath, noticing the body, tightness or openness, if you can notice movement into the body as you breathe. Noticing where your focus is, if it feels natural to draw focus into your breath. You can begin to allow the exhale to lengthen as little or as much as is comfortable for you. You don't want to force anything with the breath. You're just finding a natural rhythm. If it feels effortless to allow the exhale to lengthen just a little bit, you can start to add a gentle pause at the top of the in-breath. If at any point in time you need to just breathe naturally or just take a deep breath and just find a regular rhythm, that's entirely up to you. Maybe as we move to our practice, you can maintain a little bit of focus to the breath. That'll keep our movement deliberate and safe, our stillness deliberate and safe. Helps to create a habit in the body, deliberate movement with the breath. Last 5 breaths or so. As you sit up nice and tall, we're just going to reach the arms up, keep the shoulders down away from the ears. And on the exhale, we're going to go ahead and take the left hand down to the floor of a block, and we're up and out to the left. So just a nice lateral stretch here. So you can walk the fingers out as you bend at the elbow. Think about the right ribs lifting and the right leg staying fairly relaxed. If you're bringing the elbow to the floor or block, once again, that's up to you. Just don't crunch your ribs down into the pelvis, but try to maintain space. Hand over the shoulder, bicep by the ear, whatever feels most appropriate. Take about 5 breaths here. Once again, any movements you need to the head and neck as you pause. So a natural movement of an exhale, kind of squeeze across the bottom of the abdominal wall, or the top of the abdominal wall with the diaphragm, so the ribs. So wait for an exhale to gently squeeze across the abs, and we'll use that to come all the way up, shoulders down the back. If you would like, switch the legs out, so you have the opposite one on top or in front. You can readjust into the sits bones as much as you need to, shoulders down the back, chest is open, and on the inhale, reaching up. On the exhale, we'll take the right hand down to the floor or block, and we're up and out to the right. Left leg relaxes, left ribs lift. If you're bringing the elbow to the floor or block, just don't push the ribs down into the pelvis. You can gaze up any movements of the head and neck that you may need. Breathing here, just try to find about the same variation on this side as you did on the other. Same deep breaths. Same thing here on this side. Just following the natural movement of your breath, allowing the abs and obliques to kind of squeeze to lift the body as the shoulders continue to drop down away from the ears. Keep the chest open. And we'll bring the hands over to your right knee as we keep the chest open. So for your twist, we want to think about length as a primary focus. It's not about how far you can crunch the body around. It's about maintaining length to keep a stretch across the upper back and the pressure off the lower part of the spine. So lift the ribs, open the chest. And then the exhale, gently twist around to your right. You can gaze over the shoulder or close the eyes. Try not to tense up the lower back or you'll tend to put all the pressure on the lumbar spine. We want to think more about length here. Whenever you're ready on the inhale, just let the head come around last, hold the center. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side, hands over to your left knee as you lift the spine. So abs and obliques make our lift, not tightening up the lower back. Chest is open as the shoulders drop. On the exhale, your twist to the left. Gazing over the shoulder or closing the eyes once again. Try not to tense up the lower back so we can maintain length and the stretch across the upper back. Find an inhale, head around last, call to center. We'll move into our simple seated forward fold. Lift the ribs on the inhale and the exhale forward over the thighs. So you can keep the hands in kind of tight. If you want to reach the arms out, that's up to you. That'll tend to leverage you forward more. Ears from shoulder to shoulder, chin from side to side as much as you need to. You can bring the chest over from thigh to thigh. That'll start to open up into the lower back a little different. And this same thing, just finding a spot where you can breathe, relaxing as best you can. If you want to just relax the whole body here, that's perfect. We'll take about 5 breaths in our forward fold. Hands for support. We're just going to walk all the way back in. Shoulders down the back. So those are 5 of the 6 movements of the spine. For the last one, we'll come around to the belly. This is the movement of the spine we make the least during the day. So when you're ready, just come around to your stomach. If you need to bend the knees and rock the heels from side to side or any other movements, that's up to you. You can have heels in, toes out, or toes in, heels out. So whatever rotation of the upper thigh feels most appropriate for your lower back. Hands on either sides of your eyes, and we'll come up to elbows up under the shoulders. The tendency is to collapse. We want shoulders down and back. You can bring the palms together. For some of us, that'll help to keep the upper back engaged, to keep the shoulders away from the air. If you'd rather have one hand each elbow, that'll be a nice safe spot for the rotator cuff. Palms flat to the floor is our traditional Sphinx pose. Whatever you think is going to be best here. A gentle gaze over opposing shoulders if you'd like. Just to add a little bit of movement into the back. Keep the neck long. So if you need to gaze at the floor to keep your neck long, that's fine. You can gaze forward or up, as long as you aren't jutting the chin out in front of the body. We want to think about maintaining length across the neck. Breathe. As you inhale and exhale, begin to draw your legs towards one another and curl the toes under. If you want to keep your hands right where they are, that's fine. Palms of the hands together, one hand each elbow. We want to hug the abs and the obliques up against the skeleton, from the hip points up to the bottom set of ribs, so we create sort of a corset. Pull the ribs away from the hip points, let the glutes engage or squeeze up against the back of the pelvis. And whenever you're ready, inhaling or exhaling, we're just going to lift the bottom set of ribs up off the floor until your pelvis leaves. You need a little bit of side-to-side rocking or movement here, that's fine. If you feel like it's appropriate here, you can lift the knees up off the floor, and we're just going to take about 5 breaths. You can gaze at the floor, you can gaze forward, or wherever is comfortable for your head and neck. Maintaining length of the spine and maintaining your breath. So the glutes and the abs stay hugged up against the skeleton. We don't want to relax. We're going to exhale the knees to the floor if they're lifted. And then when you're ready, slowly drop the pelvis. Belly comes down. You can shrug the shoulders as you splay the elbows to the sides. And we'll pause here, a little bit of rocking of the heels from side to side. When you're ready, you can come up to hands and knees. Hands under the shoulders, knees dropping out of the hips about hip width apart, and we'll find a little bit of space between the feet just so that the feet disappear behind the thighs. We're not sagging to the chest, but press the chest away from the floor, and then just a few cat-cows. Inhale as you pull the chest forward. Exhale as you lift up to the bottom set of ribs, and if you need to drop the hips back a little bit, that's fine. As you inhale, don't tense up the lower back, but think more about pulling the chest forward. As you exhale, lift into the bottom set of ribs. You can even push the palms down here to open into the spine a little further. Just a couple more breaths here. Inhaling or exhaling, come back to your neutral spine. We're just going to kind of squeeze the same muscles as we did from our plank variation. So abs and obliques hug up against the torso. Glutes hug up against the back of the pelvis. And when you're ready, take the left leg out behind you. And that can be heels or toes pressing out. The goal here is to create length of the body, not to try to push the leg up as high as you can. So bring the leg back. And when you're ready, reach the right arm out in front. Strong, straight left leg. Pushing the chest away from the floor, and we'll take about 5 breaths. Gazing into the face or forward. Maintaining your length. We're still hugging the muscles up against the skeleton. We're going to start with the hand to the floor and then exhale, and then the knee when you're ready. Side to side rocking through the hips, any movements into the lower back you'd like to create. Pressing the chest away from the floor. Glutes and the abs hug up against the skeleton like a corset, and we're going to take the right leg out behind us. So heel presses out. Long, straight leg. Keep the neck long, pushing the chest away from the floor with the right arm. We're going to take the left arm out parallel and reaching in opposite directions. Gazing into the face or forward. Once again, same breaths. Keeping the jaw relaxed. When you're ready, we'll take the hand down on an exhale, and then the knee when you're ready. And your movements to the shoulders, the lower back, the hips and thighs. And eventually we'll come up to standing at the top of the mat. So if you need to have any blocks or blankets, you can just have those handy up to the top side of the mat, and we'll just come up to standing however's comfortable. So inside or outside edges of the feet parallel, and we'll just rotate the palms forward to drop the shoulders down away from the ears. This first set, kind of open into the body, just kind of move around as we go. Keep this fairly simple. For our back bends, glutes and the abs are going to help to support the spine. We want to think about thighs forward, chest lifting. So when you're ready on the inhale, your back bend, glutes and the abs for support, thighs forward, chest lifting. Exhale, forward fold. You can swan dive, ragdoll, or hinge forward if you need to use thighs for support. Bent knees are perfect here. And once you're down, any kind of movement you need, walking out the hamstring, shifting weight from side to side. You can push your weight left, you can push your weight right as you bend opposing knees. If you'd like to take one hand at each elbow for just a moment, that's an option. 2 more breaths. Gentle bend to the knees if you need it. On the inhale, hands to the shins, just find your half lift, chest parallel. Pull the ribs out away from the hip points to maintain length. On the exhale, relax. Right foot takes a step back on your inhale. So from here, we'll go ahead and push hands into the floor, push down into your feet, and try to keep the right leg nice and strong. We don't want the shoulders forward, but we want shoulders down and back, and blocks may help you to find that. Keep your neck long. If you need to gently rock the hips from side to side a little bit, that's an option. Any other movements that you feel like are appropriate, your breath. So we don't want to relax here. We want to think about long and strong as you breathe. You need to drop knees, that's perfect. We're just going to switch the feet out. So the opposite foot up between the hands. Strong, straight left leg. Right foot presses down into the floor. Same thing with the arms. Keep the shoulders down and back, the chest forward. We're not really relaxed here, but we have a strong, straight left leg, and we're actively pressing into the floor. Your breath. When you're ready, we're going to shift both feet to the back of the mat. We want hands wide to the floor. Knees drop if you need it on an exhale, leading down to the chest. Elbows reach out behind us. Tops of the feet come to the floor, press into the ground so much your knees may lift. The glutes help to anchor the pelvis down, abs and obliques for support to the spine. Pull your chest forward. Remember, this low cobra is all about pulling the chest forward across the floor. It doesn't matter how high up you go. It's about hugging the muscles up against the skeleton to support your spine. 2 more breaths. Curling the toes, and on an exhale, all the way back to the down dog. You need to keep knees to the floor. That's perfect. Any movements from side to side to the hips you need to do. And as best you can, even weight across the palm of the hands. We're not just pushing into the fingertips, not just pushing into knuckles or wrists, but even weight across the palms of the hands. 2 more breaths from here. Right foot forward when you're ready.
Inhaling or exhaling.
Drop the knee. If you need a little more support here, a little more space for balance, just walk the right foot out to the right a little more. Hands to the thigh. Abs and obliques lifting the ribs, the shoulders drop. Take the arms out to the sides, open into the chest. You can reach the arms up if you'd like. Gazing up between the palms. So the pressure down into your right foot is going to help you to maintain balance. The abs and obliques lifting the ribs can help to maintain space. So once again, we're not relaxed here with the knee down. We're actively maintaining length of the spine. Keep the glutes and the abs hugged up against the skeleton on the exhale. Slowly bring the hands to the floor. Lunge. We'll just shift the hips back here on an exhale. Just for a moment into the hamstring. Bent knees are fine. Straight legs if you need to. 3 breaths. When you're ready on the inhale, we're just going to switch sides. Knee to the floor. If you need blankets or rolled up mats, that's perfect. Find a spot for your left foot. If you need to kick it out further, that's always an option. Abs and obliques hug up against the skeleton. Glutes to support the pelvis, and we'll bring the shoulders back up over the hips. Lifting the chest. Arms wherever you need to have them. It's whatever's comfortable for the head, the neck, the upper back. You want to gaze up between the palms, that's an option. Thighs forward, chest lifts if you'd like. I'll take just a few breaths here. Maintaining support to the center of the body. And on the exhale, slowly bring your hands down, keeping the left foot pushing down. Lunge on the inhale. On the exhale, we'll shift the hips back. Heels or toes pressing out. Once again, any movements of the hips and thighs you need to make. Same variations you found on the other side. Inhaling forward. Exhale, right to meet the left. Inhale, sweeping up. Nice long spine. Hands in front of the heart, shoulders down the back. Once again, for our back bend, thighs forward, we'll lift the chest up. Inhale. Thighs forward, chest lifts. Exhaling forward. Half lift on the inhale, extend. Exhale, relax. Inhale, left foot to the back of the mat. Just taking up as much space as you can. Exhale, both feet to the back. pressing the chest away from the floor. Knees drop if you need it as we exhale down through the chest. Back bend on the inhale. Find some length. So the glutes, just the buttocks, are helping to anchor the pelvis down. Once again, abs and obliques, taking the pressure to pull the ribs forward away from the pelvis. Exhale, down dog. Your breath. Any movements to the head and neck. Left foot forward. Forward fold, we'll take the right to meet the left. Inhaling all the way back up. Hands in front of the heart as the shoulders relax. On a few more variations here. Inhale, lengthening, up and open.
Exhale, forward fold.
Find your half lift on an inhale, just extend, bent knees are perfect. Exhale, relax. Right foot to the back of the mat. So we'll come up into a warrior two. Take the back heel and just spin it down to the floor. So if you need blocks, that can be on either side of the left foot. On the inhale, right hand to the sky. Then we want to exhale, press up. If you need a hand to the thigh for support, that's an option. Reaching the arms out. So nice, straight, strong right leg. Dropping into the left knee, so the knee's over the ankle. 5 breaths. We're going to take the right hand to the back of the right knee, left arm lifts. Keep the deep end to the left knee, and we'll take about 2 more breaths. Pushing into the feet. On the exhale, we'll take the left hand all the way back down to the floor or block, whatever's most appropriate for you. Lunge. We're just going to switch the feet out to the other side. Exhale. Any kind of movements you need to make from there? When you're ready, we'll spin the back heel to the floor. So knee and ankle, the right leg lines up, pushing the foot. Nice, strong, straight left leg. Right arm up, left arm to the sky as we open the chest. We want to push down into the feet. If you need thighs for support, that's fine. On the exhale, warrior two. Gazing over the right middle finger, abs and obliques lifting the ribs, pressing down to the feet. Breathing here. The foot pressing down a strong back leg. Left hand to the back of the left knee. Right arm lifts. Lift the ribs and breathe. On your exhale, right hand all the way down to the floor. Windmilling through. Strong legs. Lunge. Exhale, high plank, both feet to the back of the mat. Knees drop if you need it. On the exhale, chaturanga, leading to the chest. Find your back bend on the inhale, length. 3 breaths. Down dog on the exhale. Side to side, rocking to the hips. You need the feet a little wider. That's always an option here. 3 more breaths. When you're ready, let's go and take the left foot up between the hands. You can have the back knee down or the back knee up, whatever feels best for your body. We just want to plant into the right hand, strong right shoulder. Lift the ribs, shoulder down the back on the inhale, left hand to the thigh. We're going to take the left hand to the sky, that's an option. You can gaze down at the floor or up at the hands. We just don't want to shrug the shoulder, but rolling down and back. 5 breaths. Only for the exhale, left hand on the floor. Lunge. Exhale, switch the feet out however's comfortable. Any movements to the legs you need to make. If you need to drop the knee, that's perfect. Strong left shoulder. So we don't want to be shrugging, but we're pushing the chest away from the floor. Strong, straight left leg if you have the knee lifted on the inhale. Right hand to the thigh. Right hand to the sky if you'd like. Finding your breath. Exhaling the hand down. Lunge. When you're ready on the exhale, let's go find another down dog. Hips up and back towards the heels. Just give the legs some movement here. And when you're ready, we'll walk the feet all the way up to the hands. Exhale. Inside or outside edges of the feet parallel. On your inhale, reverse swan dive up. Hands in front of the heart. Kind of move through the body here. Inhale, back bend, lift the chest, thighs forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend, half lift. Exhale, relax. Bend your knees as much as is comfortable. And on the inhale, chair pose, open the chest. You can sink down the knees and hips in the same plane. If you need to be a little more lifted, that's fine. We don't want to collapse the chest, and we don't want to roll the belly forward, but find some length out of the abs. Hands in front of the heart, arms out in front if you feel like that's appropriate. 5 breaths. As an option, you can lift the heels if you feel like that's appropriate. On the exhale, heels down, hands down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, relax. Left foot back on the inhale. Exhale, high plank. Knees drop if you need it, chaturanga. Your back bend. Strong length, abs and obliques pull the chest forward. On the exhale, down dog. Hands plant to the floor. Lift the heels, bend the knees, walk out the hamstrings. If you need to bring knees down at any point in time, that's perfect. 4 breaths here. Left foot forward when you're ready. Forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Hands in front of the heart. Drop the shoulders. Drop the arms. If you want to shake out the legs and ankles a little bit, that's perfect. You just step off your mat for a moment and just find a nice tall spine. You can close the eyes or find a spot to gaze at. A few breaths. Kneecaps can gently lift. Abs lift the ribs up off the hips. Shoulders down away from the ears. So if you'd like a wall to stand next to for a tree, you can have a wall next to you just to put a hand on if you need it. Focus here is length. So whenever you're ready on the inhale, you can come up into your variation of tree. So you can bring the foot up to the calf or even to the foot if you'd like. We just want to keep the heel below the knee. If you want to come up a little further, you can bring the heel into the pelvis as long as you keep the toes above the knee. Foot and leg gently press together. Think about the knee opening. Abs lift the ribs, shoulders down the back. Find your spot to gaze at, maybe 3 or 4 feet out in front of you on the floor or the ceiling. And if you'd like, we'll start off with hands in front of the heart. Of course, you can always just stay here if you need to. If you'd like on the inhale, arms up, shoulders down. If you'd rather bend the elbows, that's an option. If you need to bring the hands together, that's an option. T position with the arms. We'll drop the shoulders as we reach out for the horizons. Your breath. Hands in front of the heart. 2 breaths. Closing the eyes or exhaling the feet down side by side, whatever's most appropriate. And eventually we'll shake out the legs and ankles just a little bit. Any movements you need to the arms. Same thing on the other side. So stand up nice and tall. Find your breath. Kneecaps gently lift. Lift the ribs up off the hips. Keep the chest open so the shoulders can drop. When you're ready on the inhale, you can come up to your tree, and that can be heels below the knee. And give the toes to the foot. If you want to come up further, you can bring the foot to the thigh, just toes above the knees once again. Knee opens up to the side as you push the foot and leg together. Ribs lifting away from the hips. It's your abdominal wall and obliques creating that. Hands in front of the heart to start. Take a few breaths. If you want to stay right here, that's perfect. Only if you want to on the inhale, we'll take the arms up. Your breath. T position with the arms, let the shoulders sink away from the ears. Hands in front of the heart, shoulders relax. Then you can close the eyes and fall out of your tree. You can exhale the feet down side by side. Whatever's comfortable. Go ahead and shake out the legs and ankles as much as you need to. Just a little bit of movement there. And we're going to come down to the floor, just down on your belly for a moment. Bend the knees and just any kind of rocking with the heels from side to side. Just a couple of breaths. We're going to take the left hand back to the left foot. If you can't reach the foot, maybe you're just bending the knee and letting the heel rock from side to side. Take some breaths here. We'll switch out to the other side. Right hand back to the right foot. If you can't reach the foot, maybe just rocking the heel from side to side. Maybe using a pant leg, maybe finding a strap. Either way, we'll breathe. So we'll find a relaxed twist here for a moment, but just 2 back bends to kind of pull everything into alignment, neutralize the spine. Let the glutes squeeze a little bit, abs to obliques hug up against the torso to pull the ribs away from the pelvis. Straighten your legs out as much as you can. On the inhale, pull the chest forward. If you feel like it's appropriate, you can lift fingertips. If you feel like it's appropriate, you can lift toes. And this is once again about length, not about how far up we can go. We'll take about 3 breaths. Just going to exhale down. Bending the knees, any movements you need to the legs once again. Hands by the armpits or the bottom set of ribs. Just want to come up towards table. Gentle cat-cow. Side to side to the hips. When you're ready, hips to the heels, chest to the thighs. We'll just relax down for child's pose. If you need to block into the hips, that's an option. If you need to keep the body more forward, that's perfect. Even curl the toes under if you feel like that's appropriate for your body here today. Coming around to the hips, however is comfortable. And clear any props off the mat once again. We'll just come down to the spine. So hands to the thighs, chin towards the chest. Roll down nice and safe. Just a little bit of side to side with the knees. You can straighten the legs here for a couple of breaths. Any movements you need to the ankles. When you're ready, just bring the feet down, kind of wide on the mat, maybe out as wide as your mat, and just the arms to the sides, shoulder blades flat. When you're ready, you can just kind of rock the knees from side to side, a couple of breaths with the knees to the left, a couple of breaths with the knees to the right. Whatever feels right across your lower back. Maybe for you, this is more about the upper spine, the chest being open. That's perfect as well. Just a few more breaths here, moving however you need to. Maintaining your breath. Bottom side of ribs and the chest lifting and falling with your breath. We're eventually going to find stillness, and we'll bring the legs together for a bridge pose. So the legs as close together as is comfortable. We don't want to pull the heels in too tight here, but we would rather the heels or the feet fall to a natural spot, wherever that's going to be. Arms to the sides, palms down, flatten your shoulder blades. So just like our warrior poses, just like our back bends, we're going to think about the glutes hugging up against the back of the pelvis and the abdominal wall, supporting to lift the ribs up off the hips. So keep your lower back safe. So push into the feet, glutes and the abs for support on the inhale. Begin to lift the hips and the thighs up. You can push the weight from the feet up towards your shoulders. Then from there, you can push into the triceps. You can push into the palms or the arms. Just don't shrug the shoulders. Keep the arms down away from the ears. We'll take about 5 breaths. When you're ready on the exhale, slowly dropping the spine. The back kind of come down as one unit. If you need to roll the spine down until the tailbone hits last, that's fine. That'll help keep the abs engaged on the way through. Knees into the chest with any kind of movement you need from here. And then when you're ready, we'll stretch the legs one at a time along across the floor. Kind of coming into your corpse pose. So heels a little wider than the hips, so the toes fall to the sides. Palms up to the sky, a little wider than your shoulders. It'll keep the chest propped open. Finding a perfect spot on the back of your skull, maybe rocking the head from side to side. And bringing your focus to your breath. Maybe that's the movement of the ribs below the armpits and the bottom set of ribs. Maybe that's the movement of the chest or the length of your breath. But draw focus to your breath or whatever's appropriate for you. It's making a deliberate effort to maintain your focal point. If you get distracted along the way, just bringing focus back to your focal point again. A couple of exaggerated breaths. And then once you've found a couple of exaggerated breaths, just whatever natural rhythm works best for you here. Maybe noticing how the ribs are moving as you breathe. Maybe noticing very subtle movement with the chest and shoulders. Maybe a very subtle movement to the clavicle and upper back. Long, smooth exhales. Taking a moment to relax the feet, palms of the hands. Relaxing the legs and arms to the floor. Relaxing the lower back, the upper back, head, neck, and jaw. Once again, just taking a moment to notice where your focus is. Making a deliberate effort to draw and maintain focus to your breath. Long, smooth exhales as you breathe. So again, noticing where your focus is as you relax the body. As you inhale and exhale. We're going to take about 5 more deep, even breaths here in stillness. Maybe an exaggerated breath here. Wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, just whatever movements of the body feel comfortable or appropriate. If you'd like to stretch out long across the floor here for a moment, that's your option. You can bring feet to the floor, knees into the chest. And rolling to whichever side of the body feels most comfortable for you. Traditionally, that's the right side of the body to lift the heart above the organs and the brain. Deep breath. Hands for support. All the way back up where we started. Shoulders over the hips, ears over the shoulders. Just sitting up nice and tall. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Just noticing subtle changes to the body, the breath, and the mind at the end of your practice. Subtle changes you created. Subtle changes you can return to whenever you need to. Pace your breath, especially when your practice ends. The light in you is the same light in me. Namaste. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Good to have you. Have a safe rest of your week and a happy holidays.